rock your body.
Come on, rock that body.
Super fly ladies, all of my super fly ladies, all of my super fly ladies, all of my super fly ladies.
Yeah, you could be big bone, long as you feel like you own. You could be the model type, skinny with no appetite, short stack, black or white, long as you do what you like. Body out of sight, body out of sight.
She does a two-step and a tongue drop. She does a cabbage patch and the bus stop. She like electro, she love hip-hop. She like the reggae, she feel punk rock. She loves samba and the mambo. She like to break dance and calypso.
Get a little crazy, get a little stupid, get a little crazy, crazy.
Hop into the music and rock your body right. Rock your body right. Rock your body right.
Come on, yeah. Come on, yeah.
Come with me. There's a world out there that we should see. Take my hand, close your eyes. With you right here, I'm a rocket till let's fly. Up, up, here we go, go. Up, up, here we go, go. Let's fly.
Nobody knows. To the stars if you really want it. Got a jet pack with your name on it. Above the clouds in the atmosphere. Just say the words and we out of here. Hold my hand if you're feeling scared. We're flying up, up, out of here.
Here we go. Come with me. There's a world out there that we should see. Take my hand, close your eyes. With you right here, I'm a rocket till let's fly. Up, up, here we go, go. Up, up, here we go, go. Let's fly. Up, up, here we go, go. Where we stop, nobody knows. No, baby, we can stay fly like a G6. Chop the streets of Tokyo, get you fly kick. Girl, you always on my mind. Got my head up in the sky and I'm never looking down, feeling priceless. Yeah, where we at, only few have known. We're on some next level Super Mario. I hope this works out, cardio. Till then, let's fly, Geronimo. Here we go. Come with me. There's a world out there that we should see. Take my hand, close your eyes. When you're right here, I'm a rocket till
Now I ain't never been in space before, but I ain't never seen a face like yours. You make me feel like I could touch the planets. You want the moon, girl, watch me grab it. See, I ain't never seen a star this close. You got me stuck by the way you glow. I'm like, oh, 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 oh. I'm like, oh, 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 oh.
Here we go.
Yeah.
She ain't real. She ain't gonna be able to love you like I will. She is a stranger. You and I have history, or don't you remember? Sure, she's got it all. But baby, is that really what you want? Blessed up, so you got your head in the clouds. You made a fool out of you, and boy, she's bringing you down. She made your heart melt, but you're cold to the core. Now rumor has it she ain't got your love anymore. Rumor has it. She is half your age, but I'm guessing that's the reason that you stayed. I heard you've been missing me. You've been telling people things you shouldn't be. Like when we creep out and she ain't around. Haven't you heard the rumors? Bless your soul, you got your head in the clouds. You made a fool out of me, and boy, I'm bringing me down. You made my heart melt, and I'm cold to the core. But rumor has it I'm the one you're leaving her for. Rumor has it. All of these words whispered in my ear tell a story that I cannot bear to hear. Just 'cause I said it, it don't mean that I meant it. People say crazy things. Just 'cause I said it, don't mean that I meant it. Just 'cause you heard it. Rumor has 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 it.
Ladies and gentlemen, our meeting is about to begin. Please take your seats. Thank you.
Good morning or early afternoon. Obviously an important day in Florida Atlantic University history. On behalf of Florida Atlantic University, my name is Pat Chun. I'm the Director of Athletics here. I'd like to welcome everyone to our main campus here in Boca Raton, Florida. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our Board of Trustees, Foundation Board members, special guests here. I see Coach Schnellenberger is here as well. Everyone give Coach Schnellenberger a big round of applause. Well, our search has been a whirlwind. So, on behalf of Dr. Kelly and myself, I'd like to thank our board chair, Anthony Barber, trustee Abdul Mulberry, and Dick Schmidt for their time, advice, counsel throughout this process. I'd like to personally thank Dr. Kelly for his time and commitment to our goal of bringing the best possible coach to Florida Atlantic University. He rearranged his schedule the past 2 weeks and was relentless in his pursuit of our next coach. His vision for our university and passion for athletics sent a loud, clear, and powerful message to all the candidates we spoke to. Also, I need to thank my family. Natalie and our girls are here because I've been gone the last 2.5 weeks, so good or bad, I'm home tonight. So 17 days ago, I made a recommendation to Dr. Kelly that we needed to make a change with our football program. That evening, I spoke to an emotional football team on the heels of a season that fell well short of expectations. I made one singular promise to them: I will find the best possible coach and present it to him at the appropriate time. Last night, I was able to present to our team the best coach possible. He talked to Lane, and we made it a point that the first thing Coach was going to do was meet with the team. And I was impressed in how he mentioned to the team, or how the focal point of the message was everything matters in life, school, and football. Our football program is going to have a standard of excellence in everything they do. How academics and finishing our semester strong was going to be their only priority. And once they get back together in January, they're going to achieve some things that have never been achieved here before. Selling FAU to prospective coaches was very different today than it was a few years ago. The combination of the current team we have, filled with character and talent, Dr. Kelly's vision for our athletics program, and most importantly, the state-of-the-art Schmidt Family Center for Academic and Athletics Excellence, proved to candidates that this university is serious about championship football. Our coach, that Dr. Kelly will introduce, has one of the most accomplished resumes in the sport. He's won national championships, coached in the NFL, and for some of the most storied programs in college football. But I want to reassure everyone here in the room, the singular thing that allowed him to be our next coach, or why he emerged in front of everybody else, is he simply wanted to be the next head coach of FAU more than anyone else we talked to. So here to introduce our next head coach is our wonderful president, Dr. John Kelly.
Thank you, Pat, and welcome everyone to FAU Stadium and Howard Schnellenberger Field outside. In 262 days, Navy midshipmen will show up on this field to play Florida Atlantic University with their new coach. In 37 days, we'll break ground on the Schmidt Family Complex for academic and athletic excellence, and a number of those donors to that complex are here. If you would please stand and be recognized. I set out 2.5 years ago to create the fastest improving university in the country. And that meant that every day you wake up with what we call unbridled ambition. You see the words behind me. Unbridled ambition means that you have a fire in your belly. You have an intensity. You refuse to lose. It means that when you go to work, you wish you were there all the time. And when you go to sleep, you wish you were working again. Not quite that bad, but close. And the people that work with me, I would say, are those kind of people. They're also the kind of people that when you want the best, you go out and find the best, you recruit the best. I have recruited, by my good fortune, the best wife in the world, my wife, Carolyn. So she taught me you have to work really hard if you want to get what you want. And when we have gone out, what we've done recently, I think, is unprecedented. In terms of staffing our academic complex, our academic enterprise, we brought the #2 person at Harvard Medical School to be our College of Medicine dean. We brought the #2 person at the University of Florida to head up our fundraising. We brought the #2 person at Florida to be the dean of the College of Science. We brought the #1 person to come here and be from NYU to head up our healthy aging, and brought the #1 person for Vanderbilt for our Brain Institute. We have a record-breaking number of gifts, private gifts, over the last 2 years. We have a record-breaking year this year for research at FAU. For our Board of Governors metrics, 2 years ago, we were ranked 10th in the state of Florida, 5th last year, 1st this year. And today, the school in the world that is trending the most on Twitter in the last 24 hours is FAU. I understand there are 50,000 people on Facebook watching this live. And today, we continue our pursuit of excellence, our unbridled ambition, by hiring the top person in the country, the genius in coaching, Lane Kiffin. Lane, welcome to FAU.
Well, thank you very much. Today is a very exciting day, and I get a lot of questions about becoming a head coach again. When we first started speaking almost 2 weeks ago about this job, I was not in a position where my mind was, I have to be a head coach. My mindset was, I want to find a place that is very committed to winning, a program that's very committed to going to the next level, and a place that wants to see great things happen. Somewhere where they use the word we. After meeting with Dr. Kelly, Dick Schmidt, Abdul Mulberry, Anthony Barber, and Pat Chun, it was very obvious that Florida Atlantic is committed to winning and committed to doing it together. At Florida Atlantic, we will see great things happen. For us to do the impossible, we have to see the invisible. And I believe that here, after meeting with the players last night, there are great players here. There are obviously great players in the state of Florida and great high school coaches. You don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. And we talked about that last night with the players. This will be about working every day to create a championship program here, very much like programs I've been fortunate to be a part earlier at different places. We'll work every day to create a championship environment by the way that we work. I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of great programs and teams and players. And the one thing that every one of those teams has was accountability. And that's what the theme will be here. We will bring it here every day. I think that this reminds me of what Joe Madden said at the beginning of the year, the great run they went on. He said, embrace the target. And that's what we're going to do here by the way that we work every day. And what does that mean? I think to myself, it means you put your arms around it, around the players, the program, the way that we go to work every single day. The process starts today here at Florida Atlantic. I've been very fortunate to be around 3 years of a place that is all about the process and learning that. And we will bring that here to Florida Atlantic. Today, to all the high school coaches and great players here in all of Florida, the doors are open today. Myself and our staff, that we will take our time to assemble the best staff that we can. It will not go very fast, but it will be the best staff that we can give to our players and to our program. I'd like to thank a number of people, starting with when I was a player, Pat Hill was my head coach, gave me my first opportunity. I told these guys a story the other day. How did you get into coaching, they asked. I said, well, I was playing quarterback. I was at Fresno State, and Jeff Tedford was my coordinator. And I was going into my senior year. I was the second quarterback behind Billy Volek. And then David Carr walked on campus as a true freshman, later on becoming the first pick of the draft. And so we went out and threw for about 10 minutes and decided I was going to start coaching because it was obvious I was going to third team. So I guess I should thank David Carr for that. And Jeff Tetford and Pat Hill talked to me about coaching. I was around the office all the time, and they said, hey, you're here anyway. Why don't you start coaching with us? I got to sit in the press box next to him. And then Sonny Lupick at Colorado State gave me my first opportunity to work there. And I do think that what Sonny was doing at Colorado State, and something familiar to this area here, I remember very clear, and I remember the Miami job coming open. In that same time frame, I was with Coach Lupick there. And I remember him not taking it. And I was young, so I was like, what is he thinking, you know, at the time? So I didn't learn from that and screwed up a bunch by jumping all over the place. But I remember him saying he was building something special there. And it didn't matter how many people were in the stands. It was about the program and the people that he was around. And so as we were going through this process and feeling this place and what it was about, I thought it was a very similar situation where I said, hey, this is somewhere we go do something really special and build it with people that want to do it together as a team, and that was very obvious in the meetings. When we met, I came away from that meeting knowing that this was a job that I really wanted. I did not know going into that meeting I did not know going into that meeting, but I did know coming out of there, the feeling that was in that room, that they wanted to do this thing, and they were committed to doing this, to taking this to a championship level. Next person was Tom Coughlin and Dom Capers. The Jaguars gave me an opportunity in the NFL there, and then Pete Carroll, at 24 years old, called me up and gave me a wonderful opportunity to come to Southern Cal, and started a great run there of 6 years together there, of a bunch of championships. And then the next person would be Nick Saban. So I'm very grateful to Coach Saban. My phone was not ringing very much at the time after USC, and that was a very humbling experience. After being let go there and to go through that process, and you start calling a lot of people that don't call you back all of a sudden. And you realize things about people, but you realize something when Nick Saban was really willing to take that opportunity and to give me that opportunity. And it's been a wonderful 3 years. And Coach Saban has been great through this entire process, learned so many things from him about how he runs the program and how he is the CEO of the program. So would like to thank Coach Saban. I will be back tonight, Coach, for the 7:30 a.m. staff meeting tomorrow. And excited to be back there, Coach. So I'll be there. Next, my mother, my sister Heidi, my brother Chris, and my father. I think as you grow up, you know, I got to see a great model of how to work and how to develop relationships and how he treated people. And I think you're never too old to have a hero. And I want to thank my dad because he is my hero. And last on that would be Landry, who we did just FaceTime. It is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Landry. Have a great day at school. And as I told the players last night, always remember to dream big. So today starts, brick by brick, one day at a time, of building the foundation of a championship program. And it will not be about talk, all right? There'll be no talk. It'll be about work. And that starts today. So with that, questions?
Being that this university football team struggled the past 3 years, you're coming from an NC school, you won a couple of championships with them. Being that the recruitment efforts and resources that you had at Alabama and you won't have here, how do you build a team around that?
You got that sunshine right there, I know that. And those palm trees, that'll help. And a beautiful stadium. I do believe that recruiting is about the people, and it's about the people that I have already met, that were around, and the support that recruits and families will see when they come here, that it is we, and it's a program committed to doing the things to becoming a championship program. So, yes, all people will talk about facilities are great, and there's a process here for that happening, but that's not the number one most important thing. It'll be the people that we put in the program, and when the families and the kids come here and see that, they'll want to be a part of this. Hello, Matt. How much time do we have? The question is, what have you learned from your previous head coaching jobs? And a lot. So I think, you know, as hard as some times were, when you go through those experiences, if you learn from them and you don't make the same mistakes, and you now know the answers to things when they come up. And I've talked about that a lot, and I like helping first-year head coaches. I went down to see Tom Herman when he first got to Houston, and had put together some notes about 32 different things I wrote down for him that no one teaches you till you become a head coach, that you don't even think about. So I'm in a much better position now when things come up to having answers instead of figuring them out. And that's maturity and growth if you learn from those things. So there'd be a lot of things to that, but I think it's just in general learning from those experiences, so when they happen, you're in a better position. And also now I think, you know, 3 years with Coach Saban, you have a whole new set of answers. So I think as you sit down to figure things out, okay, this is what Pete would have done, this is what Coach Saban would do, and you kind of put it together. Where I think I was so young as a head coach, I think I just really was just figuring everything out one day at a time, you know, versus really having a plan. And sometimes that happens. Coach Carroll's referred to it before to me, you know. He got fired twice, and he said something, you know, between that third time, it just came together for him, and he figured it out. And you kind of stop trying to be someone else, and you figure out what you want to do and what you want for your program, and that's where I'm at today.
What do you know about the players you have coming back next year?
Yeah, I know that we're a very young team. You know, I've not studied the entire roster. That was not important at the time. It was more important to me to meet the people that were in charge here and the leadership that was here, because I know what we can do with the players. So I know it's a very young roster, and there is talent on the team, a number of very close games in the second half last year. So we'll go work today with our current players and to find immediate impact players that can come in right away to help us win next year.
What are you able to do while you're still at Alabama for this job?
You're dominating this press conference, huh? There's like 3-question rule. What was the question?
What are you able to do while you're still at Alabama in terms of this job?
What am I able to do? Okay, well, I do have the ability to go back and forth. It is a dead period coming up, so there's not a need to go back and forth as much. Had this been a week ago when recruiting was still alive, so I can do a lot of that over the phone while I'm there. You know, we'll be preparing to hopefully go win another championship, back-to-back national championships. So we were fortunate to win 3 SEC championships in a row. Now we're going to try to go win another national championship. So that'll be the focus. And then in the other time, my focus will be on recruiting over the phone and also hiring a staff.
Coach, you mentioned. Sorry. Go.
But we felt, on that note, with Coach Saban, I just felt that it was very important. As grateful as we are for this opportunity, it was very important to go finish what we started there, and the commitment to those players that are there and how hard they have worked throughout the process to get to this point, to you know, be in the Final Four. It's time to go finish that.
Coach, you talked about Tom Coughlin and Pete Carroll both being you thankful for them. Did you talk with either of them during this process?
I did speak with Coach Carroll via text on some things. I'd spoken with him about 2 weeks ago about some different things going through this process of figuring out, and we were both on the same page. You know, this was not about becoming a head coach. I was very happy at Alabama and what we were doing there and what we were building, and to have a true freshman there in Jalen Hurts and what he was able to do, being the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. We're fortunate to have 3 years in a row to have the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. So this was not I got to be a head coach. There's some special things going on at Alabama, obviously in a run of, I think 25 straight wins. So I was very happy there. This was a unique opportunity of a place that really wanted to build a championship program, a place that under coach was there a time ago, so it's time to get it back.
Coach. I'm wondering if you could take us through the process of when the news came out Friday through today, with what was going through your head and how you kind of dealt with the distractions before it came time.
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned as we talk about what do you learn going through the different jobs and being a head coach and stuff, I think you learn not to worry about what you can't control and what's out there. You know, when I was younger, I used to read everything and, well, why is this guy saying this? Why is this article saying this? And that's one of the things Coach Saban has really taught me. He does not listen or watch or read anything that's out there at all. He says, why am I going to waste my time? no disrespect to the media, as he says, I really don't care what they say. I care about what's going on in my program. And if I'm reading that, I'm wasting time on watching film or recruiting players. So I really don't know what was out there. And as he said, as I've learned from him, I really don't care what was out there.
Coach Jimmy Johnson, reporter WPBF in West Palm. Can you talk about the fact, once you get into the locker room, day one, you said you already met with players. Once you meet with them again, you can really start actually talking about football and practicing and that sort of thing. How can you build rapport with your players so that when they get on the field on week one, they perform to, where you want them to perform?
Yeah, I think, and I felt it last night, one of the things that I'm very fortunate because of the name recognition of where I've been and what these guys know. From these players when they're little, they've seen me on sidelines, on national TV all the time. So that's very valuable initially. That doesn't matter at the end, but initially they naturally are ready to listen because they're watching the teams you're part of, the great players, the Heisman winners, and they know that we can take them there. So that makes that part very easy. But at the end of the day, it would be about the relationships that I've always had with the players, where they know that I can take them somewhere they can't take themselves, and we've done that. We've done that often, and whether that's from a guy that's going to be an NFL player no matter what, to taking them into the first round, they'll feel that, they know that, and that's what we'll do on the field, in the classroom.
Lane, Tim Reynolds of the AP here in the middle.
First off, welcome.
Thank you.
I know your dad's still going up to Jacksonville from time to time and doing some work up there. How much more attractive did this job seem to you to have some proximity to him again, just have him around you even a bit more than probably you have the last couple of years?
Yeah, there was a lot of things very attractive about this job, and we've talked about where the program's at, the commitment to building this program to a championship level. There were some very family things about location that also made this great. With my dad in Jacksonville, a bunch of family, sister and bunch of family in Tampa area, and some actually down here in Fort Lauderdale. So the majority of our family and my kids' relatives, I would say 90% of them are in Florida, so very attractive.
Coach, Jeremy St. Louis from beIN Sports. Welcome.
Thank you.
Just wanted to ask you, just in terms of timeline, this is a program that's struggled for a number of years now, and you come from a number of very prominent programs. Not to put too much pressure on you, but in terms of a turnaround, what kind of a timeline are you hoping, what kind of a timeline are you expecting in terms of getting this program at least to the 500 mark?
Yeah, well, we really don't care about what happened before as far as that, and talked to the players last night about that. That doesn't matter, and we're not going to focus on it. We're going to focus on where we're going, but that's going to be one day at a time, and it's going to be about how we work, how we build this one day at a time. I actually followed my dad's advice for once. My dad actually, when I was young, used to always say, be very, very careful who you follow and where the program's at. You really don't want to go in and follow somebody that's really made it a phenomenal run. You want to go into somewhere where they've been struggling and been down, a place where they won like 3 games or 9 games in the last 3 years combined. And so I really listened to him. I followed Pete Carroll at USC, so that was really smart, and that worked really well. So they're going to compare you to where the program was at in the last coach that was there. So it is, I said this last night sitting in the office to someone I was on the phone with, as I was just sitting there by myself, and you're probably not going to believe this. I said, this is my 4th head job, and I'm sitting in this chair, coach's old chair, office that he designed, and I was the most excited that I'd been of any job. And I know how can you believe that? USC, Tennessee, Oakland Raiders. Because it's just a different place and a different feeling, the place of building something and doing something that's never been done before versus trying to do what's already been done. And so it's gonna be a special run, and it's gonna feel different as you're doing it. It's gonna feel different because we're taking everyone here to a place they haven't been. And so there's so much excitement for me about doing that, that I'm just excited where we're at right now, and very fortunate and grateful for the opportunity.
Coach, Adam Lichtenstein from the Palm Beach Post. First, congratulations. And then Florida's obviously one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country. How do you plan? What's your approach as far as recruiting against the likes of Florida, Florida State, Miami, and even other programs like USF and UCF?
Yeah, I think, again, very attractive part of the job, obviously, because of the recruits of Florida. I've recruited Florida a bunch myself. When we were at USC, Coach Carroll made a decision after the first year there that he wanted to put 8 coaches in California and 1 coach with the other 49 states. So that was me. So I'd pack my bag and go. And similar to what I'm talking about, doing stuff that's never been done before, I came down to Florida. In SC, we'd finished our first year. We were 6-6, lost to Utah in the Vegas Bowl. It was not like recruiting to USC, like what you're used to. It was a different time then. SC had been down for a while, had not won a national championship since 1981. And I just took the mindset, I didn't know any different. I'm going to go beat Florida State and Miami in their own backyard. And so that's just how I think. I don't really worry about what was done before. And I remember some coaches, even on our staff, kind of laughing, saying, "You're wasting your time. You know, what are you doing trying to go get Keith Rivers, the top player in Florida outside of Orlando? He's not going to come all the way to USC. What are you doing going to try to beat Florida on Mike Williams, who's in Tampa, and Gainesville's right up the road?" I just said, that just made me more excited. Just like people that say, "All right, why are you taking this job?" So I've recruited here a lot before. Being fortunate to sign a number of great players from Florida, so I look forward to getting back to doing that.
Hey, Coach. Adam Silverstein, CBS Sports. If you weren't here at Florida Atlantic, would you be back at Alabama next season?
Yes, I would be. And I'll be back there tonight. No sun and palm trees. Yes, I was planning on being back there. And like I said, we're in a great run. So that's why I don't read what's out there. So I know that we were in a great run. Coach Saban and I have had a great relationship, regardless of what people may think. As he says, I get my ass chewings from time to time. I've learned to accept those. So it's been a great run. When we signed 3 years ago and we sat down and talked about the offense and the program and where it was at, and Coach wanted to make a change on offense. He wanted to go a different direction, and I give him credit for that. I think people have this assumption Coach Saban's stubborn and he's just going to do things a certain way. Well, I get credit for the offense. I give the credit to him. He was the one that wanted to change. He sat down and said, "We're not going the right direction. This is not where college football is going." And as much as he could not stand where it was going on offense, as much as he dislikes it, he was not going to be stubborn. And we've seen some other coaches around the country in the last couple of years be stubborn and try to prove that style still works, and it doesn't. So we changed, and it's been great for me. Blake Sims, our first quarterback, was different. We were all at USC and the other places. We were all pro style, and we always had pro style type quarterbacks. And Blake, with what he could do, made us change. And and then after a great year with him, went down, like I referred to, with Tom Herman, and we decided to even change further in direction. Went down to TCU. To me, another example of a coach that built something really special, has had a bunch of opportunities to leave. And when I was sitting there talking to him, I was thinking about over his years there, how many people, while he was making these runs at TCU, everybody was saying leave to these bigger jobs, went and failed and are back where they started. So that's another example, I think, of just maturing and looking at things different, about not always chasing the bigger, the better, what's supposed to be, what when you're young, you're trained to be. You're supposed to always try to get to that level, to get to that job, versus, wait a second, let's figure out, do we have something really special that we can keep building and winning? Because winning's fun and losing is not.
Hey, Coach, Matt Lincoln, CBS 12. Along those same veins, you said the young guys that have seen you on sidelines, they know your history. So when they have a concern for you, I'm not sure if I want to come to FAU because I don't know if I'm going to have Coach Kiffin for 4 years. What do you say to them?
Yeah, I think as you've heard me talk about in this press conference, I'm in a different place than where I would have been 10 years ago, and I think different, and I see something really special here. Meeting with the people that are here, when I met with them, that this was different. Being in those interviews, you can tell at places. You can tell sometimes where you're in one of those, and the 4 or 5 people in that room that you're meeting with, maybe 2 or 3 of them want to do something special. I could feel everyone in that room was committed to doing something really special. And so why not build something special and take it where it's never gone before and continue to do that? We used to talk about, Pete would say all the time, anybody can win once. You can have 1 year because you fall on a great quarterback or the ball bounces the right way, you get some good calls. Can you do it over and over and over again? That's what success is, and that's what we're getting ready to do here.
Lane, in terms of filling out the rest of your staff, would you perhaps look to local high school coaches to do that?
Definitely. Actually, started last night reaching out to a number of high school coaches in all of Florida, especially South Florida, to make sure they knew what we were doing with the program here. The doors were open, the commitment here, to also help football get better, high school football here. So bringing them in to help them, but then also at the same time looking at some in a coaching role here, an off-the-field role that can help us continue to develop relationships here with the high school community. This has been easy. There's got to be some hard questions somewhere. This ain't like LA.
Coach, Tim Reynolds again from the AP. When the Houston Regent went public and said that you weren't the safe hire for them, did that offend you in any way? And what do you think he meant by that? Or
It did not. Tillman sent me a message clearing that up immediately about what he meant. That's not what he meant, and sent me a message. I'm not going to share the entire message, but a great message about what he felt and why what happened, having nothing to do with me and nothing to do with the interview process. We had a great interview with him, enjoyed spending time with him. Actually was up with him in New York and enjoyed meeting him.
Coach Jake Elman, FAU All Access. I think some people kind of look at Conference USA as this easy, beatable conference, and FAU is almost the one school that, almost like when you were with USC, almost like if USC was playing a D3 school. What's the message that you want to send to the rest of the conference now that you're taking over a program that's gone 3-9 the past 3 years?
Yeah, I'm not concerned about sending a message to the rest of the conference. Again, I've sent those messages before, like to Coach Meyer when I said at Tennessee in the same conference, we were going to sing Rocky Top all night long in the swamp. So that didn't go over very well. So it's taken about, what is that? It's taken about 8-10 years to get back buddies with Coach Meyer. We're a lot better now. We're accusing him of cheating. So I'm not worried about the message. I'm worried about our program. I'm worried about our players. I'm worried about hiring the best staff that we can. So that's all I'm concerned about is our program and not any messages to anyone else. So this is kind of a boring press conference.
Coach, when it comes to hiring assistants and including some of the people that are still here on the staff, what are you looking for? What kind of traits are you looking for? And how do you go about judging whether or not you want to keep some of the people that are here and how many people do you want to keep here?
Yeah, so that's what, before I go back tonight, I'm going to spend the majority of the day doing that, talking to the people that are here. Obviously, we'll make some changes and some people will evaluate. Having to go back, there will be an evaluation period, and I'll be very, very clear with them about that and interview some of them because we're not just going to change. If there's really good people here that have great relationship with our players and are coaching our guys extremely well, then we'll look at keeping them. So we'll spend the day working on that, and then also obviously talking to other people so that we get the right fit. You know, this will not be about hiring the biggest names. This will be about hiring the best coaches for Florida Atlantic's program right now.
Do you intend to bring some guys from Alabama?
That is definitely a possibility. Obviously, we've got some great coaches at Alabama in roles where they would come here in an enhanced role. So that's definitely an option.
How do you see yourself with the offense? Do you see yourself as a play caller, as a head coach also, or how do you coordinator handle that?
Yeah, I think again today, this is a day of just starting the process of figuring things out. And so, again, instead of a bunch of statements and a bunch of this is exactly how we're going to do things, we'll look at everything. It'll depend on the coordinator that we hire. It'll depend on our offense direction. It'll depend on a bunch. But where I am in a different place after going with Coach Saban is seeing how he is the CEO of everything. And how does he do that? Well, a lot of that it frees his time because he does not call the defenses. Now, he knows what's going on, obviously. It's his defense that he built initially, but then he trains guys to be able to do things. And I think that that's an area that I would change from where I was before. I was so focused on X's and O's and offensive football versus managing the entire team that I know I could have done a better job focusing more on defense, special teams, the whole university, relationships on the university, versus just always being, tunnel vision on X's and O's.
Thank you, Lane.
Yes, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We actually tried, Dr. Kelly tried to slip into this contract that Dr. Kelly was going to call plays, but the attorneys worked out. A quick funny story before I let you go. We were driving over here, and it's Landry Kiffin's birthday today, so he's FaceTiming her in the car, and she picks up. It's a, 3-hour time difference. Hopefully you're not mad I'm telling the story. So she picks up the phone and says, Dad, you're all over TV. And they're like, what are they saying? Say, you're only going to be there for a couple years and leave. It's like, don't say that. My bosses are all around me. So that's the only probably media he's heard. But we appreciate you guys spending time with us today. It's a new era for FAU football. We appreciate everyone's support. Get the word out. Buy tickets. It's going to be a fun ride here. Go Owls. Thank you very much.